Success will come more easily to you if you have this one trait. It's an itty-bitty, teeny tiny trait, but it will make all the difference if you're looking for success in any area of your life. I've relied on this trait for more than 40 years of my life. And you're about to listen to a podcast episode I recorded 5 years ago, but the message is timeless. So sit back and relax. Close your eyes, unless you're driving or outside walking. Don't close your eyes then. And learn about the transformational power of your mindset. Enjoy the episode. This is episode 108, and I'm your host, Donna Doyon. If you Google the phrase mindset, you'll see there are around 115 million results. And the dictionary definition that comes up on that first page is the established set of attitudes held by someone. Now, I love that phrase, the attitudes that are held by someone. To me, that makes it sound like we have a choice. You can hold on to something or you can let it go. And that is exactly what mindset training is all about. Carol Dweck is a PhD, and from the little bit of minimal research I've done, she's one of the early researchers on this topic of mindset. I'm going to read directly to you from the mindsetonline.com website, and this is based on the book that Carol Dweck wrote about mindset. What is mindset? Every so often, a truly groundbreaking idea comes along. This is one. Mindset explains why brains and talent don't bring success, how they can stand in the way of it, why praising brains and talent doesn't foster self-esteem and accomplishment, but jeopardizes them, how teaching a simple idea about the brain raises grades and productivity, what all great CEOs, parents, teachers, athletes know. It continues, mindset is a simple idea discovered by world-renowned Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck in decades of research on achievement and success, a simple idea that makes all the difference. And then she goes on to outline that there are two different types of mindset categories. The first is a fixed mindset, and this is what that website, mindsetonline.com, says about the fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic qualities, like their intelligence or talent, are simply fixed traits. They spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of developing them. They also believe that talent alone creates success without effort. They're wrong. In a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Virtually all great people have had these qualities. So I ask you, just from those most basic definitions, do you think that you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Do you think that what you have for brains and for talents, this is what you have, this is all you have to work with? Or do you believe in the power of being able to develop them further, to learn and continue to grow? This is what mindset is all about. And this goes back to that first dictionary definition I shared, where mindset is the established set of attitudes held by someone. If you're holding on to something that you believe this is all you have, there is no more. You have to hold on to it and you have to prove your worth. You have to accomplish whatever you're going to accomplish based on what you currently hold in your hands. Your current intelligence, your current talents, that is what you have. If that's what you hold on to, if that's your attitude, then that would be a fixed mindset. If, however, you feel like what you're holding in your hands, your current talents, your current intelligence level, if you feel like you can keep adding to it and you can discard things that are no longer working for you, and you can pick up new stuff along the way, and you can make some of what you're holding, you can make it grow even bigger, that would be a growth mindset. So let's talk about why your mindset matters. which particular type of mindset you have. I'm sure that within those two broad categories of fixed or growth mindset, there are varying levels, and those levels probably depend on the situation and the circumstances. As an example from my own life, earlier this week, I was having an emotional, technologically frustrated meltdown. I was in the process of purchasing new cell phones that would use a new cell carrier. I am not one who stays on top of the latest technology. If things are working, I don't really see the point in changing. But I was at the point where my phone really wasn't doing exactly what I wanted it to do anymore. I knew it was time to upgrade, but I was still reluctant to do that because I didn't think I would be able to figure out how to make this switch to a new cell phone carrier. I didn't think I would be able to transfer my data over and my contacts. In the past, whenever I've gotten a new phone, I have always just gone back to the store, purchased the phone, and let someone else handle all of that. So in my mind, I was thinking, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I was feeling so much tension and anxiety around this. I knew that I could ask my significant other, Earl, to do it for me. And that was my plan. In fact, when I was ready to purchase it, I said, honey, can you go online with me? Help me make sure I've got things figured out and I'm buying the right thing, exactly what I need. And then I ran into some issues with that. Things weren't working for me. And I really was thinking, oh, I'm just not meant to have a new phone. I'm just not even going to spend the money. And I really got worked up into a frenzy over this because I was thinking, ooh, this is too expensive. This is too complicated. Things really aren't that bad with what I have. So maybe I don't need to change after all. But there was this voice in me. My growth mindset was working and saying, no, Donna. It's time for a change. This new phone will offer new features. This new phone won't be bloated with all of the apps that came preloaded on it that were sucking up valuable storage space that prevented me from downloading apps I really wanted to use. So this niggling inner voice, this growth mindset was saying, go for it. You can figure it out. And I knew that I had Earl as a backup to get everything set up. Well, he was actually plan A. After a whole fiasco of getting the phone delivered, I finally had it in my hands. And I thought, do I dare open the box and try to set this up on my own? My inner critic, my inner voice was telling me, no, Donna, you can't figure this out. It's too complicated. You don't understand how it works. And I kept listening to that voice, and that voice had been playing in my head since I made the decision to purchase the phone. This great feeling of overwhelm that I can't do it. And that morning, I sat down and I thought about it and I thought, okay, something inside of me is telling me I need to give this a try. How can I make it work for me? And I thought, well, okay, I'm going to turn it into an experiment. What's the worst thing that can happen? And I realized, there are 10-year-olds that can set up a cell phone. I'm an intelligent woman. I should be able to do this. And it occurred to me that technology can be easy when I don't overthink it. That's my problem. I am one of these consumers that when I purchase something, the first thing I do, I pull out the user manual and I read it through. And I know what step 10 says before I even take step 1. And I like knowing what is going to happen next. Well, today with technology, they don't come with manuals. They come with a little slip of paper, a fold-out, that says, step 1 is to do this, step 2 is to do this, step 3 is to do this. And then the assumption is you're just going to continue on because the screen is going to tell you what step 4, 5, 6, 7, what those steps are. And I'm looking at this little fold-out paper and I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of scary. I don't know what step 10 is. And I had to keep telling myself, step 10 doesn't matter if I'm only on step 2. Technology is easy when I don't overthink it. That has actually become a new daily affirmation for me to write. This is part of my mindset. My mindset was telling me I can't do it. A niggling sense inside of me said, give it a try. So here's what I did after I came up with that affirmation, and I really liked that because It really hit the nail on the head for me. I overthink things. I need to learn to trust that as I take step by step, that the next step will be right there. As soon as I finish step 2, boom, step 3 is on my screen. So what I did was I set up my webcam and I recorded the whole process of setting up my phone. Here was my reasoning. I really thought I was going to screw it up. And I wanted to have a record of what actions I took, which buttons I pushed, even though cell phones today don't really have buttons, but which option I chose on that screen. So that if Earl needed to figure things out when he got home, we would have a record of what I did. And so I started the webcam and I just made it fun. I made it an experiment. I didn't go into it feeling like I would be successful, but I went into it feeling like I was giving it a good try. And you probably have already figured out I was successful. Going step by step, not overthinking it, reading the instructions on the screen, answering the prompts. That was all that it took. And I got my phone set up. And I don't recall the last time I have been that proud of myself, because this has been one of those fears. This has been an established attitude that I have carried for more than a decade. It was hard to accept that, wow, all this time I've been paying twice what I needed to pay for a cell phone because I was afraid to try something new. There's always a cost when our mindset is holding us back. Now, I can easily let go of the extra money that I was spending because I was aware I was doing it. I just wasn't ready. It didn't hurt enough at that point for me to make the effort to change. And unfortunately, that's the situation so many of us find ourselves in, is we don't invite change into our lives until we are experiencing pain, and sometimes severe pain. Sometimes people wait until they get those medical diagnoses, or they experience a heart attack or a stroke, or they're on 10 different types of medication before it occurs to them, wow, I could do something differently. I could treat my body better. I could start taking small steps to improve my health. It all starts with your mindset. If your mindset is saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. Nothing I do is going to change. My genetic makeup is going to determine whether I have high cholesterol or high blood pressure. Well, those things do impact. But if you're 50 pounds overweight and you never move beyond what you absolutely have to move for your daily job, yes, that impacts it as well. And those are things you can change. Your mindset may be saying, but I'm not athletic. I'm not athletic either. But yet I've run a half marathon. I've completed sprint triathlons. I've ridden my bike almost 200 miles across the state of Maine. I'm not an athlete, but that doesn't mean I can't walk, run, swim, ride my bicycle. What is your attitude telling you about yourself? This is something you can change. If you're telling yourself, I can never, that means you choose to never. If you tell yourself, I probably could, then you most definitely can. This is what our mindset is doing for us. In our relationships, our mindset says, oh, she's just a cranky old witchy person. And if we accept that as being the truth and the reality and never looking beyond that judgment, that attitude towards that person, we're never going to dig just a little bit deeper to approach that relationship with a sense of curiosity and interest, to find out why this person has those walls up, that barrier. Perhaps we're going to find someone who has just been so desperately hurt in the past that she's not willing to take a chance on anyone else. And perhaps just approaching that relationship from that perspective that she is just a wounded individual and your heart is open. And instead of judging and being critical of this person, just accepting her the way she is, perhaps slowly over time, her walls will come down just a little bit so you can see the true person that she is. But it all begins with your mindset, that established set of attitudes that you hold. If you think you're not capable of doing something, of learning something, of developing a skill or a talent, you're not going to put the effort into it. Or it will be so half-hearted that at your first failure, your opinion of a failure, you're going to quit. But instead, if you can change it to that growth mindset, where you think of things as playtime, as an experiment, as just a new experience. And you're not putting any pressure on the outcome. You're looking at it as a chance to learn. You're trying to figure things out, and you approach it from that sense of, yeah, I don't have a clue of what I'm doing, but hey, let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. You will feel your life lighten up tremendously. You'll no longer feel tied to the results. You'll feel compelled to enjoy the experience. And some of these experiences will be frustrating. But then when you get beyond them, when you reach the pinnacle of your success by just completing the task and not worrying about a quality standard, you're just getting it done for the very first time. Think of a baby's first steps. They're all wobbly all over the place, and what do we as parents do? We see them take their first step and, oh my gosh, we are over the moon excited as if they are the first babies to walk, because it's that big of an accomplishment. And when you're learning something new, allowing yourself to learn something new, believing that you can learn something new, it has that same power, that same richness, that same write it on the calendar because it's a big deal. It is a big flipping deal. I believe that we all get trapped in aspects of our lives where we fall into that fixed mindset pattern. We have these established set of attitudes, and we don't question them. They're that ingrained into us. We don't know they're there. We don't realize how they are holding us back, and we don't know that we have the power and the option to change it. But something is going to happen in your life. There's going to be a circumstance, a situation in which you are going to realize, that's not working for me right now. Is it possible to change this? The answer is a resounding yes. For more than a decade, I thought I would not be able to figure out how to switch cell phone carriers and set up my own cell phone. It was a belief that I didn't have to think about, because as long as my cell phone was working fine, I really had no need to put any time or attention on it. But then once I did, and I started to question, and I started to not like the feeling that I was having of feeling incompetent and incapable. And that's when I decided to take action, to do something, to challenge that belief. Now you may be wondering, what would have happened if I had botched things, if I hadn't been able to figure it out? Let me assure you, there are many times, especially with technology, that I have not been able to figure things out. But that's when I discovered that I have a special sort of persistence, resilience, and a bit of stubbornness in me, because I keep trying. When the world didn't blow up and I did not die, I learned that it was okay. So it didn't work out. Big deal. So what? I learned something along the way. I learned that I could try, and even if I didn't succeed, it just meant I had to explore different options. I had to find another way. And that just opened the door for more creativity, more curiosity, and just a belief in myself that the answer was out there. Ooh, that sounds kind of X-Files-ish. The answers are out there, and there is a way. Believe in yourself. Mindset. Believe that you're capable. Believe that you're not limited to what you currently know. That's kind of the fun thing in life, is learning something new, learning more about something. I tend to be a person who likes a breadth of knowledge rather than a depth of knowledge. Give me the surface information, what I really need to know to do something. And then other people, they're really interested in mastery. And whichever way you are is fine, and that could depend on the topic as well. You may just want to know a superficial amount for maintaining your vehicle, but yet you're super passionate about photography, and so you know what all of the filters and what all of the lens settings do. If you are interested in exploring a new hobby, if you're interested in exploring a new fitness method, if you're interested in starting a simple walking program, your mindset will determine your success level. If you approach it with that closed mindset of, I've never been able to do this before. No one in my family walks. It's just not something I'm cut out for. I think it's boring. If those are your attitude about any activity, that will determine whether or not you participate in that activity and reap the benefits of that activity. If, however, you approach that same activity with a growth mindset, where you believe that your abilities are developed through the dedication and the hard work, the commitment, the discipline, making this action a habit. If you believe that that's something that you can do, you will love learning about this new activity. You will love incorporating it into your life. You will love experiencing those benefits that you're going to experience. But you have to believe that it's possible. You have to allow yourself to grow into this new, better version of yourself, this new creative vision of yourself. And whether we're looking at our physical activity, we're looking at our relationships, if we're looking at our business or our creative endeavors, when we look at it with a growth mindset, being curious, open to learning, knowing that we're not perfect just as we start, that will allow you to try so many new things, to take yourself in directions you hadn't previously thought of. Your mindset is one of those keys to your future. It's the key to your past and your present as well. Your mindset has brought you to where you are. If it has been fixed and you've stayed stuck and you've wondered why other people are more successful, more athletic, more inclined to experience the things you desire in your own life, this week I encourage you, I challenge you. Think about your mindset, your attitude that you hold about those situations, circumstances, and people. Allow yourself to start asking, how is my own attitude, my own belief holding me back? What if is a great phrase. It allows for so many possibilities. What if it were possible for me? What would life look like then? So this is just a basic overview of what mindset is and why it matters. So to recap, mindset, that's your established set of attitudes that you have about life, the universe, and everything. Your mindset can either be fixed or it can be set up for growth. A fixed mindset is one where you just think that there are limits, that what you have is what you've got and it's all you'll ever have. A growth mindset is one where you can look at the possibilities, you can explore and be curious, you can continue to build and grow as an individual. You decide which will serve you better as you move forward in developing your level of health and your level of happiness.